Hello. Okay, guys, let's read. Prime the environment for future use. Oswald Nuclos is an IT developer from Nats, Mississippi. He is also someone who understands the power of priming his environment. Because dialed in his cleaning habits by following a strategy he refers to as resetting the room. For instance, when he finishes watching television, he places the remote back on the TV stand, arranges the pillow on the couch, and folds the blanket. When he leaves his car, he throws any trash away. Whenever he takes a shower, he wipes down the toilet while the shower is warming up. As he notes, the perfect time to clean the toilet is right before you wash yourself in the shower anyway. The purpose of resetting each room is not simply to clean up after the last action, but to prepare for the next action. When I walk into a room, everything is in its right place, Nichols wrote, because I do this every day in every room, stuff always stays in good shape. People think I work hard, but I'm actually really lazy. I'm just proactively lazy. It gives you so much time back. Whenever you organize a space for its intended purpose, you are priming it to make the next action easy. For instance, my wife keeps a box of greeting cards that are pre-resorted by occasion: birthday, sympathy, wedding, graduation, and more. Whenever necessary, she grabs an appropriate card and sends it off. She's incredibly good at remembering to send cards because she has reduced the friction of doing so. For years, I was the opposite. Someone would have a baby and I would think I should send a card, but then weeks would pass, and by the time I remembered to pick one up at the store, it was too late. The habit wasn't easy. There are many ways to prime your environment so it's ready for immediate use. If you wanna cook a healthy breakfast, place the skillet on the stove, set the cooking spray on the counter, and lay out any plates and utensils you'll need the night before. When you wake up, making breakfast will be easy. Want to draw more? Put your pencils, pens, notebook, and drawing tools on top of your desk within and your reach. Want to exercise? Set out your workout clothes, shoes, gym bag, and water bottles ahead of time. Want to improve your diet? Chop up a ton of fruits and vegetables on weekends and pack them in containers so you have easy access to healthy, ready-to-eat options during the week. These are simple ways to make the good habits the path of least resistance. You can also invert this principle and prime the environment to make bad behaviors difficult. If you find yourself watching too much television, for example, then unplug it after each use. Only plug it back in if you can see out loud the name of the show you want to watch. This setup creates just enough friction to prevent mindless viewing. If that doesn't do it, you can take it a step further, unplug the television and take the batteries out of the remote after each use, so it takes an extra 10 seconds to turn it back on. And if you're really hardcore, move the television out of the living room and into a closet after each use. You can be sure you'll only take it out when you really want to watch something. The greater the friction, the less likely the habit. Whenever possible, I leave my phone in a different room until lunch. When it's right next to me, I'll check it all morning for no reason at all. But when it is in another room, I rarely think about it, and the friction is high enough that I won't go get it without a reason. As a result, I get 3 to 4 hours each morning when I can work without interruption. If sticking your phone in another room doesn't seem like enough, tell a friend or family friend member to hide it from you for a few hours. Ask a coworker to keep it at their desk in the morning and give it back to you at lunch. It's remarkable how little friction is required to prevent unwanted behavior. When I hide beer in the back of the fridge where I can see it, I drink less. When I delete social media apps from my phone, so it can be weeks before I download them again and log in. These tricks are unlikely to curb a true addiction, but for many of us, a little bit of friction can be the difference between sticking with a good habit or sliding into a bad one. Imagine the cumulative impact of making dozens of these changes and living in an environment designed to make the good behavior easier and the bad behaviors harder. Whether we are approaching behavior change as an individual, a parent, a coach, or a leader, we should ask ourselves the same question: how can we design a world where it's easy to do what's right? Redesign your life so the actions that matter most are also the actions that are easiest to do. Chapter summary. Human behavior follows the laws of least effort. We will naturally gravitate towards the option that requires the least amount of work. Create an environment where doing the right thing is as easy as possible. Reduce the friction associated with good behaviors. When friction is low, habits are easy. Increase the friction associated with bad behaviors. When friction is high, habits are difficult. Prime your environment to make future actions easier. How to stop procrastinating? By using the 2-minute rule. Twyla Thorpe is widely regarded as one of the greatest dancers and choreographers of the modern era. In 1992, she was awarded a MacArthur Fellowship, often referred to as the Genius Grant, and she has spent the bulk of her career touring the globe to perform her original works. She also credits much of her success to simply daily habits. I begin each day of my life with a ritual, she writes. I wake up at 5:30 a.m., put on my workout clothes, my leg warmers, my sweatshirt, and my hat. I walk outside my Manhattan home, hail a taxi, and tell the driver to take me to the Pumping Iron Gym at 91st Street and First Avenue, where I work out for 2 hours. The ritual is not the stretching and weight training I put on my body. I put my body through each morning at the gym. The ritual is the cab. The moment I tell the driver where to go, I have completed the ritual. It's simple act, but doing it the same way each morning habitualizes it. Makes it repeatable, easy to do. It reduces the chance that I would skip it or do it differently. It is one more item in my arsenal of routines and one less thing to think about. One less thing to think about. Hailing a cab each morning may be a tiny action, but it's a splendid example of the third law of behavior change. Researchers estimate that 40 to 50% of our actions on any given day are done out of habit. This is already a substantial percentage, but the true influence of your habits is even greater than these numbers suggest. Habits are automatic choices that influence the conscious decisions that follow. Yes, a habit can be completed in just a few seconds, but it can also save the actions that you take for minutes or hours afterward. Habits are like the entrance ramp to a highway. They lead you down a path, and before you know it, you're speeding towards the next behavior. It seems to be easier to continue what you are already doing than to start doing something different. You sit through a bad movie for 2 hours, you keep snacking even when you are already full, you check your phone for just a second, and soon you have spent 20 minutes staring at the screen. In this way, the habits you follow without thinking often determine the choices you make when you are thinking. Each evening there is a tiny moment, usually around 5:15 p.m., that saves the rest of my night. My wife walks in the room from work, and either we change into our workout clothes and head to the gym, or we crash onto the couch, order Indian food, and watch The Office. Similar to Twyla Thorpe hailing the cab, the ritual is changing into my workout clothes. If I change clothes, I know the workout will happen. Everything that follows, driving to the gym, deciding which exercise to do, stepping under the bar, is easy once I've taken the first step. Every day there are a handful of moments that deliver an outside impact. I refer to these little choices as decisive moments. The moment you decide between ordering takeout or cooking dinner, the moment you choose between driving your car or riding a bike, the moment you decide between starting your homework or grabbing the video game controller, these choices are a fork in the road. Decisive moment set the options available to you, to your future self. For instance, walking into a restaurant is a decisive moment because it determines what you will be eating for lunch. Technically, you are in control of what you order, but in a large sense, you can only order an item if it's on the menu. If you walk into a steakhouse, you can get a sirloin or a ribeye, but not sushi. Your options are constrained by what's available. They are shaped by the first choice. We are limited by where our habits lead us. This is why mastering these decisive moments throughout your day is so important. Each day is made up of many moments, but it is really a few habitual choices that determine the path you take. These little choices stack up, each one setting the trajectory for how you spend the next chunk of time. Habits are the entry point, not the end point. They are the cab, not the gym. Decisive moment. Okay. Good choice, bad choice, good choice, etc. Good day, bad day. The difference between a good day and a bad day is often a few productive and healthy choices made at decisive moments. Each one is like a fork in the road, and these choices stack up throughout the day and can ultimately lead to very different outcomes. The 2-minute rule. The 2-minute rule. Even when you know you should start small, it's easy to start too big. Even when you dream about making a change, excitement inevitably takes over and you end up trying to do too much too soon. The most effective way I know to counteract this tendency is to use the 2-minute rule, which states when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. You'll find that nearly any habit can be scaled down into 2 minutes. Read before bed each night becomes read one page. Do 30 minutes of yoga becomes take out my yoga mat. Study for class becomes open my notes. Fold the laundry becomes fold one pair of socks. Run 3 miles becomes tie my running shoes. The idea is to make your habits as easy as possible to start. Anyone can meditate for 1 minute, read one page, or put one item of clothing away. And as we have just discussed, this is a powerful strategy because once you've started doing the right thing, it's much easier to continue doing it. A new habit should not feel like a challenge. The actions that follow can be challenging, but the first 2 minutes should be easy. What you want is a gateway habit that naturally leads you down a more productive path. You can usually figure out the gateway habits that will lead to your desired outcome by mapping out your goals on a scale from very easy to very hard. For instance, running a marathon is very hard. Running a 5K is hard. When walking 10,000 steps is moderately difficult, walking 10 minutes is easy, and putting on your running shoes is very easy. Your goal might be to run a marathon, but you get away habit is to put on your running shoes. That's how you follow the 2-minute rule. Very easy. Put on your running shoes. Easy, walk 10 minutes. Moderate, walk 10,000 steps. Hard, run a 5K. Very hard, run a marathon. Very easy. Write one sentence. Easy. Write one paragraph. Moderate. Write 1,000 words. Hard. Write a 5,000 words article. Very hard. Write a book. Very easy. Open your notes. Easy. Study for 10 minutes. Moderate. Study for 3 hours. Hard. Get straight A's. Very hard. Earn a PhD. People often think it's weird to get hyped about reading one page or meditate for 1 minute or making one sales call, but the point is not to do one thing. The point is to master the habit of showing up. The truth is, a habit must be established before it can be improved. If you can learn the basic skill of showing up, then you have little of mastering the finer details. Instead of trying to engineer a perfect habit from the start, do the easy thing on a more consistent basis. You have to standardize before you can optimize. As you master the art of showing up, the first 2 minutes simply become a ritual at the beginning of a larger routine. This is not merely a hack to make habits easier, but actually the ideal way to master a difficult skill. The more you ritualize the beginning of a process, the more likely it becomes that you can slip into the state of deep focus that is required to do great things. By doing the same warm-up before every workout, you make it easier to get into a state of peak performance. By following the same creative ritual, you make it easier to get into the hard work of creating. By developing a consistent power down habit, you make it easier to get to bed at a reasonable time each night. You may not be able to automate the whole process, but you can make the first actions mindless. Make it easy to start, and the rest will follow. The 2-minute rule can seem like a trick to some people. You know what the real goal is to do more than just 2 minutes, so it may feel like you're trying to fool yourself. Nobody is actually aspiring to read one page or do one push-up or open their notes, and if you know it's a mental trick, why would you fall for it? If the 2-minute rule feels forced, try this. Do it for 2 minutes and then stop. Go for a run, but you must stop after 2 minutes. Start meditating, but you must stop after 2 minutes. Study Arabic, but you must stop after 2 minutes. It's not a strategy for starting, it's the whole thing. Your habit can only last 120 seconds. One of my readers used this strategy to lose over 100 pounds. In the beginning, he went to the gym each day, but he told himself he wasn't allowed to stay more than 5 minutes. He would go to the gym, exercise for 5 minutes, and leave as soon as his time was up. After a few weeks, he looked around and thought, well, I'm always coming here anyway, I might as well start staying a little longer. A few years later, the weight was gone. Journaling provides another example. Nearly everyone can benefit from getting their thoughts out of their head and onto paper, but most people give up after a few days or avoid it entirely because journaling feels like a chore. The secret is to always stay below the point where it feels like work. Greg McKen, a leadership consultant from the United Kingdom, built a daily journaling habit by specifically writing less than he felt like. He always stopped journaling before it seemed like a hassle. For Ernest Hemingway believed in similar advice for any kind of writing. The best way is to always stop when you are going good, he said. Strategies like this work for another reason too. They reinforce the identity you want to build. If you show up at the gym 5 days in a row, even if it's just for 2 minutes, you are casting votes for your new identity. You are not worried about getting in shape. You are focused on becoming the type of person who doesn't miss workouts. You are taking the smallest action that confirms the type of person you want to be. We really think about change this way because everyone is consumed by the end goal. But one push-up is better than not exercising. 1 minute of guitar practice is better than none at all. 1 minute of reading is better than never picking up a book. It's better to do less than you hope than to do nothing at all. At some point, once you've established the habit and you're showing up each day, you can combine the 2-minute rule with a technique we call habit shaping. Every second to scale your habit pick up towards your ultimate goal. Start by mastering the first 2 minutes of the smallest version of the behavior, then advance to an intermediate step and repeat the process. Focus on just the first 2 minutes and mastering that stage before moving on to the next level. Eventually, you'll end up with the habits you had originally hoped to build while still keeping your focus where it should be on the first 2 minutes of the behavior. Nearly any larger life goal can be transferred into a 2-minute behavior. I want to live a healthy and long life. I need to stay in shape. I need to exercise. I need to change my workout clothes. I want to have a happy marriage. I need to be a good partner. I should do something easier to make my partner's life easier. I should meal plan for next week. Whenever you are struggling to stick with a habit, you can employ the 2-minute rule. It's a simple way to make your habits easy. Example of habit shaping. Habit. Phase 1. Becoming an early riser, becoming vegan, starting to exercise. Okay. Phase 1. Be home by 10 p.m. every night. Have all devices, TV, phone, etc. turned off by 10 p.m. Every night, be in bed by 10 p.m. every night, reading a book, talking to a partner, lights off by 10 p.m. every night, wake up at 6 a.m. every day. Becoming a vegan. Start eating vegetables at each meal. Stop eating animals with 4 legs, cow, pig, lamb, etc. Stop eating animals with 2 legs, chicken, turkey, etc. Stop eating animals with no legs, fish, clams, scallops, etc. Stop eating all animal products, eggs, milk, cheese. Starting to exercise. Change into workout clothes. Step out of the door. Try taking a walk. Drive to the gym. Exercise for 5 minutes and leave. Exercise for 15 minutes at least once per week. Exercise 3 times per week. Chapter summary. Habits can be completed in a few seconds but continue to impact your behavior for minutes or hours afterwards. Many habits occur at decisive moments, choices that are like a fork in the road and either send you in the direction of a productive day or an unproductive one. The 2-minute rule states when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. The more you ritualize the beginning of a process, the more likely it becomes that you can slip into the state of deep focus that is required to do great things. Standardize before you optimize. You can improve a habit that doesn't exist. Okay. Tomorrow, how to make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. So that's it, guys. Bye. See you tomorrow.